Greetings and welcome to Vice Rector of UNIKOM, our speaker today, Deans and Director at 17th Floor Auditorium Smart Building UNIKOM. Ladies and gentlemen, we inform you that this event is organized by Director of International Publication.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention please? The agenda is going to start. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The respectable Vice Rector, Deans, Director, and Department of UNIKOM.
Respectable today's guest lecture speaker, Dr. Gordana Pesakovic.
Respectable Director of International Publication, Seni Lukiardi MM.
The respectable our moderator today, Sylvia Oktaputri SIP MIPO.
Respectable rectors of UNIKOM, and last but not least, all invited guests and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Universitas Komputer Indonesia. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. First of all, let us be grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Lord of the world, for the mercies and the blessing that allow us to attain in this place, Auditorium 70th Floor, Smart Building, Universitas Komputer Indonesia, to take part in
Guest lecture, Global Challenges in 21st Century. Salawat and salam may always be upon to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the dark into the light, who has changed the bad culture into better culture, that makes us enjoy the better world of science and education as today.
Sing a national anthem and march UNIKOM. This session will be conducted by Jaida Najla. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to address the audience to rise up.
Universitas Komputer Indonesia dengan langkah tegak berjalan menuju arah yang terdepan, unggul dalam ilmu pengetahuan. Universitas Komputer Indonesia tingkatkan sumber daya manusia untuk kepentingan bangsa, demi Indonesia kita tercinta. Tak goyah, tak gentar, menembus tantangan, UNIKOM maju berjaya. Menyala di dada, semangat membara, UNIKOM jaya selamanya. Universitas Komputer Indonesia tingkatkan sumber daya manusia untuk kepentingan bangsa, demi Indonesia kita tercinta.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming speech by Director of International Publication, Seni Lucardi, MM. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, I cannot hear you clearly. Have you had your breakfast? No? Don't worry, we have some snacks for you. So you can enjoy it while you hear our guest lecture, right? Okay, if you have your breakfast, please reply me louder. I will repeat, okay? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Harus pakai jamaah, jamaah enggak ya? Good morning everyone. Good morning. Okay, thank you very much. So today our newborn directorate, the Directorate of International Publication, held two special events. First is what we have here, which been a guest lecture. Secondly, we held capacity and character building workshop in another room below. But it's impossible to be happen without sincere help and support from high official, each department and other directorates, such as Directorate of Public Relations, Directorate of Application Development, and Service Center Training, as well as organizing committee member. Therefore, I would like to convey my highest appreciation to all parties who contribute to the success of this event. Thank you, ma'am and sir. So, the purpose of the event is to enrich your knowledge about global challenge in 21st century. So hopefully you can prepare to compete in this era. Furthermore, I would like to convey greeting to our respectable guest lecturer, Dr. Gordana Pesakovic, from Webster University, United States. Good morning, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you. I hope you enjoy your stay in Bandung. It's an honor for us to having you here, ma'am. And also respectable vice rectors, respectable professor, respectable dean, director, head of departments, respectable moderator, Ibu Sylvie, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and our lovely student. Thank you, Hani, for your kind willingness to join in this guest lecture. So the topic in this guest lecture is Global Challenge in 21st Century, which is attended by more than 300 students from UNIKOM and other universities. We are grateful with the enthusiastic of the event. So, considering the topic is super important for your future, I will have a question for you. So, are you ready to give full attention today? I cannot hear you clearly. I cannot hear you clearly. Please reply me with more spiritual, okay? And more powerful. Are you ready to give your full attention? Of course, okay. Please enjoy your guest lecture. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a speech and opening by Dean of Faculty Design of UNIKOM shall be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Lia Warlina MSc.ER. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay. I would like to welcome to the respected guest lecturer, Dr. Gordana Pesakovic. Welcome to Bandung. Okay. Bandung is a part of Pasundan or Parahyangan, which was created when God smiled. So this is a beautiful city. Okay. Dr. Gordana is from Yorkville University, Canada, and Webster University, USA. I would like also to welcome to this event to the distinguished Vice Rector, Deans, and faculty members. And also I would like to welcome the students from UNIKOM and from other universities. Welcome to this guest lecture. This guest lecture is part of the International Conference on Business, Economics, Social Sciences, and Humanities, ICOBES 2023, that will be held tomorrow in this place. And Dr. Gordana will be one of the fantastic keynote speakers. Okay, in this, I would like to thank to our rector, Professor Edi Suryanto Sukoto, for appointing me as Dean of the Faculty of Design to welcome you, Dr. Gordana, to share the ideas with our students. It's our great honor and delight to have you give this important and interesting lecture. Let us listen carefully to the presentation on the great topic with the title, Global Challenge in the 21st Century. Although in this year, the COVID-19 pandemic is almost entirely under control, we must more competitive. We must more aware to the most challenging time. So let us pay attention to the ideas Dr. Gordana will share. I would like to thank to the committee, especially to Ibu Seni Lukiardi and the team for successfully planning and executing this lecture. Lastly, the lecture participants are expected to listen carefully, take notes, and then ask and give opinion in the discussion session. I hope everybody enjoy the lecture and participate in the discussion. With the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare officially to start the guest lecture. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us now proceed to the main agenda. The presentation from today's guest lecture speaker, Dr. Gordana Pesakovic. This session will be moderated by Mrs. Sylvia Oktaputri, SIP, MIPOL. Before we begin, allow us to read the curriculum vitae of our moderator. Sylvia Oktaputri. She was graduated from Universitas Komputer Indonesia, majoring in international relations. Then she continued her education at the Universitas Pajajaran with the same major, international relations. Now she is a lecturer in International Relations Department of UNIKOM.
With all due respect, we address Mrs. Sylvia Oktaputri, SIPM Ilpol, to the stage. Please give our mass applause.
Okay. Thank you for MC for the brief introductions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. How are you today? Alhamdulillah. Respectable for our speaker today, Dr. Gordana Pesakovic. Hopefully I can pronounce it correctly. And then respectable vice rectors, and then the dean of faculties, head of study program, directorate, especially for Ibu Seni from Directorate of International Publications. And also, I would like to greet our students of UNIKOM. Thank you for joining us today, and also distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sylvia. I'm from Department of International Relations, and it gives me a great pleasure to be a moderator today in this guest lecture. So our main topic today is about global challenges in the 21st century. This is a very interesting topics because we are now facing many challenges: globalization, free trade, climate change, information technology, industry 4.0. So, and also transnational corporation, transnational, crimes, transnational migrations, yeah? So, how to deal with that? So what we should prepare. And you guys, as the youth or young generation, what should we do and what we should prepare for facing this global challenge. So today is already with us our speaker, Dr. Gordana Pesakovic. And before I invite our speaker to join the on the stage, please allow me to read the CV of Dr. Gordana. So yeah, I forgot to give you some informations. That this session will take about 1.5 hours approximately. So they will be divided into two sessions. The first 30 minutes, there will be a presentation from Dr. Gordana. And then the next 1 hour, there will be a discussion session or Q&A session. So I hope all of you could actively participate in this discussion session because just a few minutes ago, the committee members told me there will be a voucher, GoPay voucher, yeah, for the best 3 questions from the participants. So make sure you get them, okay? Okay, now I'm going to read the CVs of Ms. Gordana. For your information, I received 12 pages of her curriculum vitae of Dr. Gordana. So I will not read all the CVs, but you can see in the slide that Dr. Gordana Pesakovic is graduated from Economics University of Belgrade. It's in Serbia, right? And then currently her professional position are a professor in Webster University, and then also she is an adjunct professor in Southern New Hampshire University, in United States of America, and also adjunct professor in Yorkville University in Canada. And she has a professional appointments or employment in many countries, like in Herzing University, Orlando, USA, and also a professor in Argosy University, Sarasota, and professor in Johns Hopkins University on Program for Talented Youth, Microeconomics and Microeconomics USA, and Department Chair of International Business Information System and Accounting in Argosy University. She has so many experiences as a visiting professors and then invited talks, and she published many papers and publication. And she also get awards and honors in 2013 of the President Award for Excellence in Teaching. Wow, yeah. That's great. And also, she got the awards in 2009 as the President Award for Excellence in Teaching and Development of Global Initiative, Argosy University. So, as I told you, there was 12 pages of her professional experience. So, no doubt, yeah, no doubt, we are so lucky to have her as our speaker today. So now I invite Dr. Gordana to join on this stage. Please welcome.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Hey. Assalamualaikum. Samsuran. Samsuran. I tried, sorry. But I got your intention, that's important. Thank you so much for coming in such a nice number. And I'm very, very happy and pleased to be today with all of you and share my knowledge. I also want to express my gratitude to university and especially to this wonderful lady who is in charge of international programs and journals and so many other things, and vice rector and rector and all the deans and wonderful students. It's always so good to see you, so many students, so many eager people to make a difference in this world. As you have heard, I have a very vast experience. I've been teaching everywhere from Taiwan, China, Thailand, Russia, Central Asia, Europe, South America, and United States. I'm saying this because I will like you to ask me questions. And I can give you much more if you ask me questions, because I don't know what you don't know and you will like to know. And I will like to help you in searching for that new knowledge. The topic of my presentation today is global challenges. If I know how to move all of this, that will be okay. So now, I will like us to have this interaction from the very first slide, actually second slide. So, for all of you that you will be living all your life and a little bit longer, not just in maybe 21st century, maybe in 22nd century as well, how will you define or how will you explain the 21st century? What is the 21st century for you? Are you excited about it? Yes? Okay. And there is much more to come. you're actually one of those very rare generations that is living in the time that most of the jobs that you will be performing, we cannot teach you yet, because they have not been invented yet. So we are in this process of learning, education, exchange of ideas together. And it will be absolutely wonderful if from very first day you feel empowered to contribute to this wonderful journey of learning. Now, I have listed here a number of global challenges from my perspective that are very important. I'm not going to talk about them now because we have limited time for talk and quite an extensive time for exchange of ideas in your questions, and I'm just wondering who is going to win those first 3 prizes in best questions. So some of those global challenges are globalization. Obviously, this pandemic showed us a lot of things and also showed us the limitation of globalization. It was almost proclaimed the end of supply chain management. Something to think about. Is globalization alive? Is it that? Is it transforming in something else? Another challenge is related to international financial institutions. Do they need reform? Do they need completely to change? Are we going to have them? Now, what about US dollar? US dollar has been the dominant currency in the world since the end of the Second World War. Most of the transactions and international trade is actually done with US dollars. All the countries around the world are keeping US dollar as a reserve currency. Is US dollar going to keep its dominant position in 21st century? Washington consensus versus Beijing's consensus. I think I don't need to explain that. You can immediately feel it, that there are very, very two opposite things, and we can talk that maybe in your questions time. Now, rule of law. Do we have rule of law in countries? Do we have a rule of law in international arena? Global peace or global war? Where are we heading? And last but not least, what about that climate change? Is that really existential threat? Or is it just an episode in a human civilization? So all of those can be some of the questions that you will like to ask and maybe learn more about or share your views about them. Today, I'm going to focus on something else. I'm going to focus on overarching questions, overarching challenges, that no matter which challenge we are going to talk about, address about, in one way or another, those overarching issues or challenges are going to be part of that globalization, of that climate change, of that US dollar as a dominant currency, of that global peace or global war. Therefore, mistrust or distrust in institutions. Another one is derived from this lack of trust that is leading us to polarization. And finally, I'm going to talk also about losing the moral and ethical compass. Okay, so let's start with this mistrust in institutions. I have selected those 5 entities that every society in the world has. Are we talking about China, Indonesia, Germany, Nigeria, Argentina, United States, or Canada? All of the countries in the world, in one way or another, are faced with those challenges. Mistrust in institutions. Is it the mistrust in internal institutions? Is it the mistrust in international institutions? So when I talk about government and talk about mistrust in government, very often what we like to do is to present visually how does that mistrust look like. What I have here on this particular slide, that is actually 2023 Edelman Trust Barometer. We have, if you focus over here, trust in business and trust in governance. There are 27 countries, and yes, Indonesia is here, and Indonesia is, according to this barometer, actually doing quite well, much better than most countries in the world, which says that you people here do trust government and you do trust business. What we have here is actually this particular graph over here is showing you what is the difference between the mistrust or trust in government versus the trust in business. And some of you may or may not be surprised, but we have this, my colleague from Business and Economics Department, that actually all over the world, people trust business much more than they trust government. And over here, so we have, for example, 40 points. What does this mean? In South Africa, only 22% of people, of course, that were surveyed with this barometer, trust their governments. On the other hand, 62% trust the business. If we move on this scale over here, maybe get to Thailand, 50 to be closer to Southeast Asia, 56% trust the government, but 71% trust the business. And then if we come to United States, only 42% will trust the government, much more will trust the business. And then we can go a little bit further over here, and here we are in Indonesia, where we have that really the trust in government is very, very high, one of the highest in the world, 76%, and it is also much higher, 83% is the trust in business. Now, you probably, some of you particularly who are following international relations and international business may be more aware of the events happening globally. But since the end of the last year, we have quite a significant demonstrations going on in Peru, for example. That's South America. We recently have last year as well in United Kingdom. In less than 2 months, we have 3 different prime ministers. That tells you something, like if the Great Britain is changing prime ministers 3 in less than 2 months, that tells you something. This is a historical representation of the trust in government in United States. And as you can see here, initially, after the Second World War, there was actually quite high trust in administration and government. With the President Eisenhower, it was really at a very, very, very high point. And then during the Johnson era, it reached probably the peak. And then we have Vietnam War, and then that trust started to deteriorate. And you can just follow one administration after another administration after another administration, and that gets there that the trust currently is actually around that 30% or less. I chose this country, Israel, because it's a small country, it's an interesting country to observe, and these are their study done last year. And what do they have here? The darker blue color represents actually an average trust of number of years. And then the light blue color represents actually trust in all of those government institutions in last year. The highest trust is, as you can expect, in the Israel defense forces, but then as you go down, 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 and you get to this government, which is only 24, and even less is the trust in media. So, quite telling numbers. Now, if we have, as was indicated here, mistrust in government, where is that one leading us? It's leading us in mistrust in democratic process. And that one is on its own a very, very serious, actually, challenge of the 21st century. Maybe? Okay. Some of you may remember in January 6th of 2021, this first picture over here is in the front of US Congress. There was election, and President Trump supporters thought that election was stolen, and they were very unhappy. And they actually, we have demonstrations in front of the Congress and actually inside the Congress as well. Just recently, at the beginning of this 2023, we almost have a twin picture over there. We have elections in Brazil, and the Brazilian former president lost the elections, and his supporters didn't believe that that was fair, and they were demonstrating. Where should I point? Okay. Now, this is very interesting figure, and as you can see, I really like color. And by the way, living in Florida, I mean, if you live in Florida, there are a lot of colors in Florida. If you go to live in New York, everything is gray or black, but in Florida, we like colors. However, in this particular photo, the more red, the more orange the color is, that means the situation in that country, as it is related to electoral process, is actually deteriorating. And again, as you can see, quite orange color in United States, in Brazil, in Russia, and in some other countries. But again, coming to Indonesia, we have actually the color that is closer to this green color, which means that when we compare the current situation in electoral integrity from the very first time when elections were started to be conducted and measured, there has been actually improvement. Now, another very serious issue that we are faced today in the world, maybe not in Indonesia, but definitely in the number of countries in the world, is this distrust in media. Why is this trust in media important, significant? Why is this distrust in media actually dangerous? As you can see on this particular slide, I took just the countries that were scoring the least in this trust. Most of them are actually European countries. We have Argentina, that is not, South Korea, that is not, and then Taiwan, and then here we come to United States, that only 26% of people trust media. Why is this distrust so important? It is important because very often we look at the trust in journalism as one of the 4 pillars of every society. First 3 pillars you all know. It's executive power, that is usually the president. Then we have Parliament of Congress, that is legislative power. And then we have a Supreme Court, the main court of the country. And that one is actually judiciary. And then we have that 4th pillar, which is journalism. And if there is such a mistrust in journalism, as I said, those pillars of every society are completely shaken. Now, we can talk also about the mistrust or crisis in education system, and maybe we can have another session about that one. But I want to I point out here on one recent study from the end of last year that was actually conducted by three very reputable international organizations, UNICEF, UNESCO, and World Bank. And they named their report, The State of the Global Education Crisis, a Path of Recovery. We all have went through this pandemic, and there are a lot of consequences of pandemic that we are not even aware at the moment. But some of those consequences, if we look at the educational system, and we look in particular about middle and lower income countries, it's something that is very alarming. And that is this rise in learning poverty. What is learning poverty? This study has shown that in those low and middle income countries, we have that estimated 70% of 10 years old children do not understand the text that they're reading. They don't understand the meaning. I know that because in the United States we have it, and the United States is far from being a lower or middle income country. In European countries, I have friends, the same thing all over as well. But this is much more emphasized in actually lower income countries and middle income countries because they really didn't have another alternative to acquire education when schools were closed. And this is what we are talking about, the future of our world. And if the kid does not understand what he or she is reading, how can we have learning happening? Very, very serious. Now, healthcare crisis, again, very big topic, and I'm just going to touch the iceberg here. I selected this particular slide because it is showing how different countries are appreciating or trusting their healthcare. And most of the countries around the world trust healthcare. However, we have a number of countries, let's say maybe we're starting with France, 55%. And then as we go down, 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 we get to Russia that only 36% of people who were surveyed here really trust their healthcare system. Another very, very alarming thing. When we talk about vaccination and pandemic, very big topic again, and the lack of vaccination, how they were sent in some parts of the world or not sent in some parts of the world. But from these purposes, because we are talking about trust, even in those developed economies like France, more than like 30%, 33% of people have huge doubts about the vaccines. In the United States, we have also huge doubts among a huge number of people who were doubting. They're doubting healthcare. They're doubting science. World Health Organization was obviously put on the spot when the rest of the whole world was going through this pandemic. And they came up with a new term. We talk about pandemic, and the World Health Organization talk about infodemic. What is infodemic? We were all bombarded by information from multiple sources. And on a daily basis, people didn't know who to trust. And that was very confusing in the situation when we have to deal with the global pandemic. this brings us to mistrust in science. And here we are in educational institution, and some of you are already researchers, and a lot of you, I'm sure, are going to proceed with your studies even further than just getting, not just, but just getting your undergraduate degrees. Now, the thing with mistrust in science, the president of World Bank, David Malpass, he just recently, like a month ago, gave his resignation from that position. But even he, a person who was at that top position, World Bank, was expressing his doubts in science, and he wasn't ready to recognize what science are talking about burning the fossil fuel and its effect on the increasing the warming of the planet. Now, we always have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves in our private lives, in our public lives. What does that mean? If we have and recognize that there is a problem, we recognize that something is not right. And we can blame somebody else. Well, they did it. It's because of them I didn't get to this school. Because of them I didn't get this job. Because of them my paper wasn't published. And you can just come up with your own examples. But we also have, again, to be honest. And being honest means that we have to recognize our responsibilities, our shortcomings. And we as researchers have to recognize, probably if there is this mistrust in science, are we doing something that is contributing to creating this mistrust? Or we can put it in a positive way, what can we do as scientists to change people's mind, to trust us more? Sorry. I go back. Now you saw my whole presentation, and everything is going the opposite way. Okay, this is the way I want to go. Okay. Close there. Okay, and that means for us that are engaged in research, we have to think about how are we communicating to the rest of the audience what we were researching. I don't know how many of you have read research articles recently, and you are coming from different disciplines. But very often what can happen is that you may be coming from one discipline, and then you are reading another research article from another discipline, and you absolutely do not understand a word what they're talking about. So maybe it's also up to us researchers to try to communicate our messages in a more understandable way. So if we are writing a research article about medicine, that article would be understood not only by doctors, but that will be understood by us people who can be suffering or know somebody who is suffering from diabetes or cancer or whatever. So again, that something needs to be done on our end as well. Now, there is a glimmer of hope. I don't want to be the messenger that is bringing all those bad and concerning news to all of you in this wonderful morning so far without rain, and I hope it will stay this way. And that is that actually this year we have seen some improvements in trust. Here, what do we have? We have actually trust in all four institutions: government, non-government, business, and media. And as you can see here, if we look at the blue number of countries, 2022, there is one country more in the 2023. So that it means that there is Mexico, for example, suddenly here has more trust in institutions. However, on the flip side, we also have increase in the countries that are distrusting or trusting less their governments and their non-government institutions and media, and that's why we have increase in the number of countries in that red line. And again, Indonesia is performing very well. I mean, it's again showing a lot of trust in all of those institutions. Now, what is really of concern is we live in the same country, but we live in parallel universe. What does that mean? We have the same passport, but people with, as in the United States we said, with a certain zip codes. Zip code is basically where you live. So that zip code is your actually very good indicator who is going to be successful, who is going to be accepted to those Ivy League schools, who is going to have a good job. So in this sense, as I said, we live in the same country, but in completely separated universe. People who are living, who are well off, who are having this high income, trust institutions much more. People who are with a low income trust institutions much less. And when we combine all of those things that I have been talking today about, this will lead us, this huge mistrust in institutions, in media, in non-government and government and business and health and science and all of that. This is leading us to polarization in the society. And polarization in society is very dangerous. On this particular graph, I want to point out this group of countries that are severely polarized. And I think that pretty much soon we will add to this list France as well, because there are a lot in Brazil. What does this mean? We have Argentina, Colombia, United States, South Africa, Spain, and Sweden. In those countries, polarization is huge. What does polarization mean? In the United States, it will be maybe easier to explain, is that we have a huge polarization between people who belong to and vote as Democrats and people who vote as Republicans. So much so that they don't want to be in the same room together. So much so that family relationships have been damaged because one part of the family is voting Republican, another part of the family is voting Democrat. They don't talk. And if you don't talk, there is a much more higher probability that the country will be in trouble, the family will be in trouble. I want to share with you something that is related to business. If you look around the world, if you look, let's say, multinational corporations, big corporations, even if you look small corporations, they may be coming from different countries, they may be coming from different industries, they may be employing, they may be different in size, but for almost all of them, they have two things in common if they are failing, if they are not performing well, if they are reaching bankruptcy. Can you think about what will be those two characteristics that all the companies that are in trouble have in common? Why do you think they are in trouble? Think about, some companies may come to your mind. Maybe you study about some of those companies that were failing, that were disappearing. What do you think? Again, coming from different parts of the country, from different countries, they have two things in common, and those two things are lack of trust and poor communication. And this is why I selected those particular items today for those challenges that we are faced with. Because lack of trust and poor communication leads us in divorces, separations, no friendships, collapses of the companies, and it can lead us also to collapses of the countries. And that's why this mistrust or lack of trust or distrust is such a serious actually issue. And that is why when we talk about media in particular, communication is very important. If we have poor communication, there is actually high probability of this polarization and conflict. When the study was done and the participants were surveyed, how do they perceive these countries that they lived, that they were born in? And it is again, 53% of participants of countries said that they see this division, this polarization in the country much more severe than ever before in the past. In the case of Netherlands, 80% see that their society today is more divided than ever before. You go to Sweden, 73%. Sweden was always regarded in every study that if you're looking about economic development and industrial development and comparative studies, Sweden was always used as a prime example how the society can function in harmony. Nowadays, 73% think they're divided more than ever. And the last point that I want to make here is that is another very big challenge, and that is that we are in a certain way as a world losing our ethical and moral compass. What is ethics? What is legal? What is moral? Very often, you can hear, especially among the business community and politicians sometimes, but I'm more informed about business community, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm following the law. Is following the law sufficient? And the answer is actually no. Why? Law, and I don't know if we have here students in legal systems and so forth, but law cannot regulate everything. Not because it's insufficient in getting that, but because the societies change. And what does that mean? That means that you may not be breaking a law, but every law has, as we say, loopholes, that gray area. You are not breaking the law, but you are not really quite doing the right thing. When you think about ethics, think about this in your lives on a daily basis. you will be faced with certain ethical dilemmas. What should I do? Should I do this or should I do that? And maybe this is kind of tempting to do it. But you are kind of thinking, I don't know if this is really ethical to do it. It's not really nothing bad, but then should I really do it? When you think about, when you are faced on a daily basis with this dilemma, think about this. If you choose to do this, think about your parents. How will they feel if in the evening news, the first news was your name, my son, my daughter has done this and that? Will they be proud of you? Will they be ashamed of you? Will they approve what you have done? Will they be saddened with your action? On the other level, you can also think about this. What is ethical? What is legal is when everybody is watching, there is a legal system, everybody is watching, and you have to do the right thing. What is ethical means nobody is watching, and you are still going to do the right thing. And this is obviously, things are becoming more and more complicated, and this university with your majors and with your name, you are going to be faced with a lot of those challenges regarding ethics, artificial intelligence. What will be the right way to do it? Does artificial intelligence has ethical code, ethical standard? Nowadays, everybody is using, I don't know if we ever had such a fast application of something like this chat GPT, but recently I read that somebody asked certain questions to chat GPT, and then GPT answered, and then the next question, the follow-up question was, so GPT, are you ethical? And the answer was, I am collecting information and disseminating information. I don't know anything about ethics. I'm just disseminating information. So again, this is on the top of all of those challenges that we already have, is making your lives much more interesting. How are you going to deal with those ethical challenges with artificial intelligence? And I found this picture that was really telling about another way of looking at ethics. We have billions on both sides, billions of people versus billions of dollars. A lot to think about, and this is the time for you and to earn those prizes. So I am ready if you are ready.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gordana. That was very comprehensive presentations about the global challenges in the 21st century. So, yeah, distinguished participants, we already hear from Dr. Gordana what is the global challenges. I would like to highlight some points of today's guest lecturer's point. First, we are talking about the challenges. There are globalizations, international financial institutions, and then US dollars getting high, and also the competitions of Washington consensus and Beijing consensus, because we see this since from the rising of China, yeah? And then the rule of law, global peace of war, and yeah, as we know that Russian and Ukraine's war, there are so much impact, yeah, to the world, and also the climate change. But the main highlight point here is about the mistrust or trust issue. Actually, mistrust in institutions, in government, media, education, healthcare system, and also science. What I'm really interesting about, as you mentioned, about the 4 pillars of democracy, legislative, and then judicative, and executive, and also the media. Now, also we are facing about the, mostly media talk about, this is not the new pillars, like WikiLeaks, and then, some of, I don't know what we should call that, fake news, or maybe the whistleblowing. Whistleblowing. They say it is becoming the 5th pillars of democracy. Well, but trust in media is necessary, yeah. And then polarizations, and also the losing of ethical compass. Because now we are entering the information age, artificial intelligence, and then industrial 4.0. This is really challenging. So from what already Dr. Gordana present to us about the global challenge, I think many of you wants to ask the questions, yeah, regarding to this subject. So now I open the Q&A sessions. Hopefully all the students will actively participate in this discussion. So would you please, now I invite all of you to ask the questions. Please don't forget to mention your name and also your study program and your questions in simplified way, okay? Okay, please go ahead. Any questions? Come on.
We must have some brave people here. Come
on. Come on. So this is a Z generations, yeah? You are very friendly with internet, yeah? You must be read a lot of informations. So ask the questions. Okay. Yeah, would you please the committee members to deliver the microphone? Okay, go ahead.
Can I just ask the question?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for the time. My name is Keisha Victoria Johannes, and I'm from informatic. My major is informatic, and my question. So, thank you for the great lecturer. And my question, I really interest in education crisis. So, you said before that trust in, you said before that low income countries usually same with the low education. So they have poverty in learning. With the small children cannot understand things. So my question is, we know that 2 things affect each other. That with low income can affect our education. So affect each other, like the low education can also affect our income. So my question is, in those 2 things, what the first thing we need to work out? The education or the income, so our country can be better? That's my question.
Thank you for that question. I just want to, great, we already have 1 prize here. That is very important question, and thank you for starting with education as such. When I was talking about a lack of trust or mistrust in institutions, and when I was talking about a low income, I was talking that in the same country, the high income people who belong to the high income trust more in institutions than the people who in the same country who belong to the low income. So it's not, this particular statement wasn't referring to the countries, different countries, but inside the same country. But I want to share with you actually two examples. 2004, 2005, I took a group of 15 American students, and they were studying in America a doctoral program, but a few of them were actually from Asia, in particular from Taiwan and Thailand, and the rest of them were from United States. And I organized that program, and we were heading from Mumbai to visit one factory, Zaindra, and that was the pharmaceutical company. So we rented a minibus, and there were like 15 of us. So somewhere in the middle of that journey, I saw something was leaking inside the bus. I know nothing about mechanics or cars, but leaking in the bus didn't look like a good sign. So eventually the driver stopped the bus. And we were in the middle of the slump of the world. On the left side, thousands of poor people. On the right side, thousands of poor people. And here we are, looking differently than they. In the situations like this, you have probably two options. You definitely cannot run away because you don't know where you are. So you can be afraid, or you can embrace the moment and embrace this opportunity that was given to you. And I did the second one. So it might be very brave, it might be stupid, but it was probably one of the most rewarding and heart-touching experiences in my lifetime. There was one tiny, like not bigger than maybe meter or 1 meter and 40 centimeters, really, really small woman, probably not even having 30 kilograms altogether. And she said she was inviting us. So I have responsibility toward my students, but it was tempting. And I said, let's go. She invited us at her home. And her home was not bigger than this part of the podium over here. Not bigger than that. And she said, 11 people sleep here. 11 people. There was no furniture, nothing. There was just carpets. 11 people sleep here. But we have a son, and he's 10 years old, and we save all our money for his education, and one day he's going to speak good English and he's going to succeed. So that is really a very strong message about the power of education. Another is coming from, again, from the region, South Korea. As you know, South Korea is your neighbor, and that is the only example in economic development that we have so far. That in 20 years, only in 20 years, that country jumped from being the poorest of the poorest countries in the world to become the member of the most developed economies in the world, OECD countries. How did they achieve that? There are many reasons why they were so successful. And I'm not going to talk about all of them, I'm just going to mention one of them. So they were so poor. Again, poorest of the poorest in the world. But they have as their priority number one, education. They believe in education, they invest in education, the parents invest in education, the country invests in education, and now we see where South Korea is today. Another question that it's very difficult and it's very simple in a certain way to answer. When I teach around the world, and starting with United States, and I have multicultural students in United States, which means what? Some of them are from United States, some of them are white, some of them are African Americans, some of them are Asians, some of them are coming from different countries. No matter if I'm asking this question in United States, I'm asking this question in Uzbekistan, Central Asia, or anywhere else in the world, I'm getting always the same answer. And the question is, and let's see what answer you will give me. The dilemma is economic development or democracy? What is more important? Economic development or democracy? What is more important for you? Economic development or democracy? You can't have both. I mean, you can, just not for this purpose. Each time when I will ask Americans, Americans will always say democracy. Each time when I ask this question in other countries, they will say we first have to have economic development. We have to reach certain level of development. And so I hope that these three examples give you indirect answer to your very good question. Okay. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gordana. That was a very detailed answer, yeah, for the questions from students from informatics system. Yeah. Okay. Maybe another questions? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning. I'm so happy because I be part of here. So I'm gonna put a little bit. Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot. So I'm Mona Lisa. I'm from. We major in government science. So I have a little bit story. Like it's a little bit. I promise. So because I'm from another city, so it's mean I need to took a vaccine for buy airplane ticket for coming to this city. And then the first vaccine I took is because I have to took the vaccine, but after took the vaccine I get fever. And then because I have to buy a airplane ticket, but like I need a document to showing that I get vaccinated. So, but I mean, because I'm majoring government science, and then also I have a doubt about the vaccine, and I feel like I have right to not took the vaccine. But okay, I mean, I'm not gonna talking about that. But I really have a simple question, ma'am, about that if one day I'm gonna graduate, I need advice how I'm gonna face the globalization. As a fresh graduate, how I'm gonna face the globalization. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, you're already facing you're already facing this globalization by your story. Pandemic is a global issue. And that tells us also something else. Sometimes we are thinking, globalization is not going to affect me. I'm always going to live in my city, whatever that city is, whatever that village is, and globalization is never going to come to me. Well, globalization is coming to all of us. We may like it, we may not like it, we cannot hide it from it. Unless we live, as they said, on the isolated island, that we are self-sufficient, and unless that island is not close to any big country that is going to pollute that island, but their activities. But to be, let's say, maybe more practical, how it's, what is your major? What are you studying? Government, okay, sorry. I heard that you were mentioning twice that thing, but I wasn't quite hearing. Are you coming from government side or government science? Okay, very good, very good. So how is globalization going to affect you and other students that are here and all over the world? In multiple ways. I don't know actually where to start, but Indonesia is an open country. What does it mean, open country? Indonesia is allowing foreign direct investments to come to Indonesia, and probably some companies from Indonesia are investing in other parts of the world. Indonesia is probably playing an important role in supplying the world with some of the natural resources that you have and you are exporting. So simply by doing and conducting any export activities, working in that particular industry, you are directly going to be affected. If you are not working in an export industry, you're still going to be affected. Why? Because maybe that foreign company, multinational company, will come and invest in Indonesia. You may work for that company. Another way, in this world with so much importance of internet, so much importance of this particular connectivity that internet is providing to all of us, we have in Indonesia, in other parts of the world, countries that are very attractive for, let's say, people who will like to live in a wonderful, beautiful nature with very affordable lifestyle and work for a foreign company, make all of that money in the foreign currency, and work remotely. So they may be actually moving to Indonesia, and then again you will be affected by that, because guess what? The moment we have influx, is it a foreign direct investment, meaning companies coming here building other companies? Is it portfolio investment, meaning through the stock market? People investing, not coming here, just buying Indonesian stocks? Or is it by people coming from other countries and living there? All of those activities are going to have an impact on the level of prices in one country. Let me give you an example from country Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan has been for 25, 26 years quite closed economy, and then it starts opening. And then little by little, they start attracting more and more foreigners, and everybody was very enthusiastic about that. And it's absolutely the positive way for economic development. But can you imagine what was happening with real estate prices? Where now suddenly, instead of only just local people, you have foreigners with more money, and you have a limited quantity of supply of apartments. Very basic in economics, supply and demand. If supply is limited and demand goes up, the prices are going up. And during all of that time, you will be just staying where you are. Is it this city or another city? And you're thinking globalization is not going to affect me. So it's going to affect you in multiple ways. Some of those will be very positive, providing you with more job opportunities. Some of them will be not that positive. You're talking about jobs. Some of those jobs could be outsourced somewhere else. Some of the jobs from China maybe were outsourced to Indonesia as they were outsourced to Vietnam. So there are multiple ways, and again, I wouldn't actually really, I can't pick any particular industry that wouldn't be affected, either positively or less favorable by globalization. And probably one of those really, really exciting, positive aspects of globalization that I hope that you will take advantage and part in all of this is, if you have an opportunity to go abroad, being a tourist is wonderful, but to go abroad as an exchange student, to go to spend 1 semester in another country, to live in another country. There are now different organizations offering internships around the world. Take advantage of that opportunity. The positive side of globalization, the positive side of technological improvements, the positive side of me coming from Florida, spending 32 hours in different planes, finally 4 hours in the van and coming to you yesterday, that wouldn't be possible 100 years ago. It will take me months to get here. So take advantage of learning from others, sharing what you know with others, and creating this positive impact and this positive trend in globalization that we will be learning more about each other. And we are learning more a bit about each other, yes, through books, yes, through internet, yes, through movies, yes, through YouTube, you name it, absolutely. But the less learning about culture, about different people, really happens face to face. So that will be my short answer to your short question. Thank you.
Yeah, so to face the global challenge, they should engage themselves, yeah, in its globalization. I think you are already ready for that because you have a very good speaking English, and also you're open-minded because you're getting a vaccine to to get your airplane tickets. Okay, so yeah, I think I saw in the front row there were a participant. You. Okay, over there. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Maybe from this part. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Maybe the committee member will. Could you deliver the microphone?
By the way, I just want to to give my congratulations to all women on today's Women's Day, 8th of March.
Yeah.
And
congratulations.
And especially to our two first students who asked questions, showing that they were brave to ask the questions.
Yes.
So happy 8th of March to all of us, and now we can give a role to the chance to gentlemen to ask questions as well.
Okay. Yes. And don't forget to mention your name and also your study program. Oh.
I'm sorry. Good evening. Good afternoon. My name is Immanuel Don Chandrabuana, and I'm from program International Relationship. First of all, it's my honor to ask a question from Professor, and I want to ask about first slide on the presentation that is tell about what is the meaning of globalization, is dead or alive? And I want to ask, what is more important, educational or manner? Because today people see educational important, but manner too is important too. So that's all my question is. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
What is more important? I'm not quite sure that there is really one or another. And I will tell you why I say that. Somebody can also ask that question a little bit different way. What is more important, education or luck? Having luck, being lucky. And my take on, in a certain way, on both questions is the following. We have to be prepared for the opportunity, no matter when that opportunity is presented to us. Sometimes we are thinking, well, you know what, I'm not ready now. I really want to enjoy my life and do this and do that, and I don't want to have to take this challenge. And maybe the challenge might be, you know, you will be, or you are offered a scholarship to study somewhere else for your graduate studies. But then you are, you know, debating, going there, you know, there is no family, it's tough, am I going to like it, not like it, how can I make it? And opportunities very often happen once in a lifetime. For some people, they may have more than just one time, but we have to be ready. Now, being ready means that you have to have an education, but also the way how you present yourself is very, very important. And we know that there are different cultures around the world. And in different cultures, we have different traditions, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And in that way, some of those manners that you're talking about are maybe very unique for Indonesia, and they're very different for United States. Let me give you again an example. In different countries, Asian countries, South American, it is not expected from a person to talk highly about himself or herself. It's more expected to be modest and not to stick. However, in United States, it is really expected from you to promote yourself. And that is not to say that if you have an education and if you have knowledge, because education should also apply knowledge, but not necessarily. We can talk about that. But let's say if you are knowledgeable about something, you will be recognized. There is no question about that in United States, that will happen. You will be recognized literally no matter where you're coming from. And that's probably one of the reasons why United States is really attracting the brightest of the brightest in the world. Because contrary to some other countries where you will never in a certain way become so-called first-rate citizen if you're coming from another country. In United States, you can achieve, really the sky is the limit in that sense, but you have to work very hard. But again, it is really important to learn about different cultures and what is expected in each of those cultures that you are willing to work or interested in work. My personal take is that no matter where you are in the world, showing your respect is really something that will open to you many doors and many hearts of the people around the world.
That's very impressive answer from Dr. Gordana. Okay, maybe from this part. Okay, yeah. Don't forget to mention your name and your study program.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm so nervous. Okay, introduce myself. My name is Evi Novrisar Nenggolan, and you can call me Evi, or you can call me Pretty Mom. Okay, I'm from. My major is international relations, and I would ask about what role has technological innovation played in promoting globalization, and what are the consequences of this? Okay, that's...
Okay, sorry. I thought that you said technology. Anything else? The role of technology in globalization. Is that the question?
Yeah. What?
Repeat your question. Can you repeat your question?
What role has technological innovation played in promoting globalization, and what are the consequences of this? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so nervous. Sorry, my...
No, it's fine, absolutely. Think about it. I was traveling yesterday 40 hours, 3 days of traveling, and it's 12 hours time difference, so now it's already 2 o'clock over there, so, at night, so after midnight. So my bad. Now, what is the role of technology innovation? It's enormous. Absolutely enormous. We will definitely not have this level of globalization without technology. We can talk about other things, about liberalization of trade, creation of Bretton Woods institution, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and then GATT today, World Trade Organization, as the institutions that facilitated this development of globalization, but it will never be at this stage without technology and innovation. There is no doubt in my mind, and I think in anybody's mind, that that's really, really one of the driving forces. When you talk about innovation, again, I want to share with you another example. When I was visiting in Switzerland, one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies of the world, and they were very happy to greet to have American students that I brought with me to visit that company, and this is what they said. They said that in order for them to be the leading pharmaceutical company in the world, to come with those innovations about the drugs to treat the cancer and all those terrible diseases, they actually have researchers, workers from all over the world. This is the part of globalization, by the way. Opening the borders and all of that, and linking that to your innovation. And why did they have to have all of those researchers from all over the world? Because to come up with a new drug, you have to have, of course, research, and you have to have experimental phase. You have to test that drug. Now, if we are just focusing among research of the people coming from the same country, with the same demographic characteristics, with the same, if you want, DNA characteristics, with the same physical characteristics, we wouldn't be able to develop drugs that will be applicable to other people around the world. And if we are strictly looking from the business proposition, pharmaceutical companies do not want only to sell in their country. They want to sell globally. In order to sell globally, their drug needs to match the needs of the people. To give you an example, very simple drug like aspirin or Tylenol, as in the United States we have Tylenol. Very simple drug. Inflammation, basic stuff, nothing major. Almost killed Japanese people. Why? because their physical structure is different than American. And something that simple as somebody may think, oh my God, like, of course it's different. No, people didn't know because they didn't really test that one on a different group of people. And then by having multicultural teams for all of those businesses or industries or you name it, it's innovations, wherever it's coming, we need to have multicultural teams. And that is also, again, it goes both ways, stimulating globalization and globalization in facilitating innovation as well. So thank you for your question.
Okay, we still have time, so maybe another questions? Okay. Go ahead, in the front row. Would you please deliver the microphone to her? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe from her first and then goes to you, okay?
Hello, my name is Ade from Master of Design Postgraduate Faculty. Before you explained that mistrust has become one of issue in this century. So mistrust will be a dangerous thing, but one of which is mistrust of media. Mistrust of media. But the real problem is some people use media in the negative way in this century. So that's become one reason that makes generation nowadays have an ethic problems. So that's have a connection from the media issue to the ethic problems nowadays. So how to prevent the negative impact of the media on ethics when we as society have to trust the media? But you say before that mistrust will become a dangerous thing, but we can't trust the media at all. True. That's my question. Thank you.
So if I understand your question correctly, it's about mistrust in media and ethics and how can we overcome all of that, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that question. It's actually a very, very difficult question. And there are a number of institutions that are thinking about that one and addressing that one. I will actually give you another example. I have a lot of those examples. So there is a French TV, France 24. And French TV channel, France 24, has their news. And on each day, they will come the report from this part of the world, from that part of the world, this is happening, that is happening. But then close to the end of their news, that is 30 minutes long, they will have one section. And that one section is addressing on the day before or the week before the largest number of, let's say, social media shares. So what video, what information, what picture has like 1 million shares, 2 million shares? What were they talking about? And as you can imagine, that particular news media was selecting ones that are a little bit more political, a little bit more controversial, if you want. And what this particular individual, journalist, researcher, investigative reporter, if you want, in a certain way doing, she will do in-depth research to find out what is true and what is fake. And again, what can happen is, in such and such place, in such and such country, there were demonstrations. And that happened yesterday and somebody was killed. And you can imagine what the outburst of feelings that can have either for the group that has been killed, individuals belonging to that group, or the other side. What she will do, then she will go step by step to find out, first, did this really happen? Second, if this really happened, when did it happen? And in most of those situations, there was, in a way now with all those editing that each of us can make a video with everybody that we want or anything that we want or don't want, she will reconstruct the whole thing. And very often what she will come at the end of this report is, yes, this event happened, but it didn't happen on the 8th of March 2023. It happened in May of 2010. So there are ways, and you have actually institutions now that are really fact checkers that are literally checking the facts. So what we can do, and we are in educational institution, so our responsibility as educators is to really teach students the importance of ethics, and not only in the theoretical way, which is important, don't understand me wrongly, absolutely important, but in the practical way, in the sense that giving more examples when some type of news has been circulated and it was a fake news, what effect that fake news had on real people in real time. And hopefully by doing that on a more regular basis, we will try to reduce that unethical behavior of journalists, if you want, or all other sorts of individuals who are disseminating the wrong information. But we also have, and I want to emphasize that to all of you, don't be just passive observer of the things. You have to look for the answers also for yourself. So try to practice to learn how to be your own investigative journalist, searching for that truth. And what does that mean on a daily basis? Let's suppose you have an assignment in some of your courses. You have to research such and such topic. Don't focus only on one source. Don't focus on one source coming from only one country. Don't focus on the sources coming from the same language. Try to look for information, for research coming from different sources from around the world. In a sense, you have to compare and contrast. Don't take anything as a face value. This is it. Be always at least 10% curious and question, maybe there is a 10% chance that this is not correct. Think about this. If we wouldn't have those people with 10% doubting, we wouldn't be talking and I wouldn't have a question about innovation. Those innovators are the ones who doubt. This is the only way how the things can be done. This is the way how the motor functions. That doubt is really your seed of for becoming a great researcher and innovator and the builder of the better future for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, it means that when we are facing the fake news or we are mistrust to the media, so we should taking controls, and also the develop your critical thinkings. Yeah. By doing research, not spontaneous forward the message to your friends or maybe your family. So this ethicals is really important here. Okay, apparently we still have very enormous questions from the students, but due to limited time, so we just can give one another questions from you. Okay? From this side, okay, or maybe, Oh, okay. 2 questions, okay. It's okay. Okay, please go ahead. You're from the front row and then from the back side. Yeah.
Good.
You see, this is a good example of doubting that it works. Let me check. And that's how you deal with the fake news.
Yes. Good afternoon, Dr. Gordana. My name is Arneta. I'm from program student, internal relations. From your elaborations, I learned that the challenge that we are facing today is so multifaceted and primarily comes from kinds of distrust. My question is, what skills should we have as students so that we can contribute positively to our national sustainable development, considering the mistrust issue that you have told us just now?
So what you as a student can contribute to a sustainable development. Okay, got it. Okay, very good. I have been teaching in Uzbekistan since 2020, and I'm mentioning this country because my heart is really with the country and the economic development in that country. And as you may or may not know, Uzbekistan is 80% desert. And it is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, actually. And it's dealing with a lot of, simply because of its geography. And it's dealing with a lot of environmental issues. So now, what students can do? I have launched with my students last year one project for Uzbekistan, 1,000 trees for Uzbekistan. And I told them that I was looking for volunteers who will help me plant those 1,000 trees. And of course, I'm not planning to plant them alone, and I'm not planning to plant them one day. It's impossible. But it was really interesting. Initially, I was teaching 5 sections. Those are all freshman students taking economic course. And I said, who is going to help me? I need volunteers. And then I have few hands, let's say 10 hands up. And then when they asked them, I want you to help me plant the trees. And we're doing this on Friday. And then there is much less of them interested in that. However, I had my number of volunteers that I needed. And this is what I'm telling you what you can do. It was absolutely amazing to watch my students plant those trees. I have goosebumps now when I think about that, literally. It was so wonderful looking in their eyes, in that enthusiasm, in that understanding that they are planting the tree, that tree is going to be there when they get married, They're going to bring their children there to see and tell them, I planted this tree. And then they start talking about what they have done, because they're coming from all over Uzbekistan, not only from Tashkent. They start coming from all over. And then they start talking to their parents and sharing that, Dad, Mom, you know what I have done? I planted a tree. And they said, why didn't you come to Samarkand and plant a tree? Next week you come here and plant a tree. They start talking among their friends. They realize the empowerment they got from planting a tree and thinking about the future. Very often a lot of us are stuck in the present. We are just focused today, 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 and we are forgetting. And maybe I'm going to end with this story that comes from China. And the story is about a tree. And there was this elderly gentleman, and he was planting a tree, and he must be in his late 80s. So a bypasser was passing by his home and saw him doing that, and he stopped and he asked him the question, why are you planting this tree? And he said, because one day this tree is going to grow up, and it's going to be beautiful and to give a shade here. So it's going to be very, very pleasant. And then the bypasser asked him, but you are not going to live to that day that the tree will grow. And he said, I wouldn't, but think about my grandson. He will be playing here. So this is what you as students can do. Try to think and to project the future. That is not only going to be your present, that is not going only to be your future, but it's going to be future of your children's future. And that will be the best way if we can, all of us, if we can actually get that energy and that mission in our lives, to think not only about present and me, to think about that really, really higher good that all of us are brought to this world, and that is to make this world better than we found it.
Okay, maybe the last questions from the back side? Okay. Would you please to deliver the microphone to her? Yeah, in the back.
Okay. Hello, Miss. My name is Din Christina, and I'm from accounting department. So, my question is, what are the challenges of AI that is increasingly massive in the international world? Is it more on bad or good effect, considering that more and fewer human AI service are being hired, or many humans are less productive, even lose their job because they have to compete with AI. For example, GPT chat that can almost answer anything and make it easier for anything, including making analysis. Thank you.
If I understood your question is, what is the future of AI and ethics and contribution? Is that something like your question, or? Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you for that. Again, I am not an expert in artificial intelligence. I mean, this is university that is teaching that, so I don't want to... I did something? No, I did. It's okay. So I don't want to take the floor of better individuals who know much more about this particular field. But my take on artificial intelligence is the following. If we are just focusing on replacing the jobs, if we just focus on that particular thing, there is no question about that once we started using internet, a lot of jobs were eliminated. But at the same time, probably much more jobs, new jobs were created. And in that way, that every innovation in its own way is shaping the job field, in the sense that some jobs will be disappearing, but new jobs will be created. When you think about agriculture, for example, in United States, 150 years ago, we have 70% of people working in agriculture. Well, guess what? How many people do we have now working in agriculture today in United States? It's less than 5%. However, those 5% is making much more food products than those 70% of people in relative and absolute terms, of course, but in relative terms as well. So where I'm heading with this one? Agriculture didn't disappear. Farming didn't disappear. But what we have created modern technology, that now you don't need 100 people, you can use one tractor or combine or whatever those instruments are used in agriculture. You can tell that I'm not an agriculture person. However, on the other side, what we have created was, we have created a lot of new jobs in research and development, in research and development related to agriculture, how to produce more efficient, how to make a species that will bring us not only one crop, but 3 crops. How can we do and make use of fertilizers, of other ways of change the crops on a yearly basis, so that we will increase the revenue and the quantity of the yield of that particular field. So in that sense, artificial intelligence is really here to stay, and it's coming. And it's easy to say prediction and not to be here to be following up, like you told us this and really this is not happening. But just using history as an important predictor of change, if you want. Again, artificial intelligence is definitely creating new jobs. At the same time, it is really making other jobs obsolete. But it's always in that balance that we have to focus on the balance. We like to think that every change is positive change, but every change means that something is going to change, which means we may not necessarily have our job the way we used to have it, but we may actually have, with new education, with new trainings, we may actually start working something else. And guess what? Maybe we will actually discover that we enjoy much more doing that new thing that we were doing before, that we thought it was like, you know, I couldn't live without this, and then you start doing something else, and that you really like it. So it's to be seen. That will be the fair answer, I guess.
Yes. Thank you. Apparently, I think we still have enormous questions to be discussed, but due to limited time, so we should end this Q&A session. So if you guys have questions, don't hesitate. If it's possible, if they address their questions to your email. Yeah, Dr. Gordana's email is Gordana Pesakovic, like her name's here. Yeah. Okay. Would you please to show in a slide the PowerPoint? Dr. Gordana's email? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, if you have any questions, or maybe you want to ask about, as you mentioned, like exchange students, and then, yeah. So don't hesitate, yeah, to email Dr. Gordana. Okay, yeah, I think we have come to the end of these sessions. Let me take once again some highlight points from these today's guest lectures. We are facing so many challenges in global challenges in 21st century, like globalization, international financial institutions, and many more. And also we are facing the overarching challenges like mistrust in institutions, mistrust in democracy, distrust in media. But the most important that we could emphasize in this matter is how we recognize our responsibility. So make sure you are take a part and make a contribution in this facing the globalization and also the global challenge in 21st century. And I would like to thank Dr. Gordana for your informative and very interesting presentation. And also I would like to thank all participants for your actively participating in these sessions. Well, yeah, thank you very much. See you in next time. Please don't forget to post in your Instagram what is your activity today. Do you have social media, Instagram? Okay, by email. It's okay. Yeah, thank you very much for your attention. Stay healthy and happy. Okay, thank you very much. See you again next time. Thank you.
Okay. We kindly ask Dr. Gordana and Ms. Sylvia to remain in place for the handover and certificate. And we kindly invite Vice Rector for Research and Cooperation, Associate Professor Dr. Agus Rianto STMT, and Dean of Faculty Design of UNIKOM, Associate Professor Dr. Lia Warlina MSI ER, go to the stage for the handover and certificate.
To the Mr. Agus, Mrs. Lia, Mrs. Gordana, and Mrs. Sylvia to remain in place for documentation session, we would like to call forward all deans and director to able to come to stage for documentation session. For the first is a formal. Okay, the thumb. And then U for UNIKOM.
Okay, then with the photo session. So we respectfully ask ladies and gentlemen to come down from the stage, and we would like to call for all the conference committee to join in this documentation.
Boleh, untuk ini kita bakal foto dokumentasi secara wifi. Kepada seluruh peserta boleh untuk berdiri, kita akan foto dokumentasi bersama-sama. Boleh untuk peserta berdiri di tempatnya masing-masing. Untuk yang pertama boleh kita formal terlebih dahulu gayanya. Boleh yang belum berdiri, ayo berdiri, gak apa-apa, ayo. Boleh formal dulu terlebih dahulu, formal dulu. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi, 1, 2, 3. Boleh jempolnya? The thumb. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi, 1, 2, 3. Untuk UNIKOM. You. Oke, yang terakhir gaya bebas ya.
Seheboh mungkin ya gaya.
Boleh heboh, boleh. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Oke, sekali lagi 1, 2, 3. Ya, kami mohon kepada Bapak Ibu dan para peserta untuk duduk kembali ke tempatnya masing-masing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the agenda today. Thank you for being attentive participant. We apologize for any mistake made during the organizing this event. I'm Noval Ibrahim.
And I'm Nawal Zakiyah closing this event. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.